Welcome to the deep dive. Today you've brought us, well, one of the big ones. A text that I think everyone knows, but maybe doesn't know. We're talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus.
Exactly. And that subtitle, The Modern Prometheus, that's really our starting point. This isn't just a monster movie. It's about a creator, about stealing the fire of life and the eternal price you pay for that.
And our sources really seem to emphasize that. We have to strip away the pop culture, the green guy with the bolts in his neck.
We do. We have to look at the philosophy, the terror that's woven right into the book's structure.
Which is such a strange structure. It doesn't start in a lab. It starts with these letters from a Captain Robert Walton. He's way up north near St. Petersburg, heading for the Arctic.
Yeah, he's this incredibly ambitious explorer. He's looking for glory, a passage to the ice, and he even wants to discover the secret of the magnet.
He wants to tread, and this is a quote, a land never before imprinted by the foot of man.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
The story kicks off with this theme of unchecked ambition and profound isolation. Walton is a mirror for Victor Frankenstein.
Right. He's risking it all for this solitary discovery, and that really sets up the central question of this whole deep dive, which Victor himself warns us about.
How dangerous is the acquisition of knowledge, especially when it's, cut off from any sense of humanity or morality?
So Walton, stuck in the ice, finds Victor Frankenstein, who is near death and pursuing this gigantic figure.
And Victor starts to tell his story. But he doesn't start with the science. He starts with his childhood, which was, by all accounts, perfect.
Utterly privileged. Raised in Geneva, beloved family, he has his adopted sister Elizabeth and his best friend Henry Clerval.
But even in that idyllic setting, you see this fatal split in their ambitions.
How so?
Well, Victor, from day one, is driven by this eager desire to learn. But it's very specific. He wants the physical secrets of the world.
He wants to know the wondrous power behind everything. He's drawn to the big, hidden, metaphysical stuff.
And then you have Clerval, his total opposite. Clerval is focused on the moral relations of things. He wants to be a benefactor of our species.
So one is about virtue and service, and the other is about, well, dominion, power.
And that gets amplified by Victor's early and, frankly, terrible education.
Yeah.
He gets obsessed with alchemy. Cornelius Agrippa, Paracelsus.
These guys who are looking for the philosopher's stone for immortality?
Yeah.
The ultimate secrets.
Right. And his father's reaction is it's huge parental failure.
Yeah.
He looks at Victor's book and just calls it sad trash.
But he doesn't explain why.
No, he dismisses the dream but doesn't give him the reality of modern science. So Victor's just left with this unquenched thirst.
Which makes him so vulnerable when he gets to the University of Ingolstadt.
Exactly. He meets M. Kremp first, who is just this abrasive, contemptuous guy who mocks all his alchemical heroes.
And Victor, of course, recoils. He thinks modern chemistry is just petty and boring.
But then he meets M. Waldman. And Waldman is smooth, he's benevolent, he doesn't dismiss the alchemist's passion, he validates it.
And then he shows Victor something much more powerful.
Oh yeah. This is the fatal impulse. Waldman basically tells him, those old guys dreamed, but we can act. He says modern chemists have acquired, quote, new and almost unlimited powers.
They can command the thunders of heaven, mimic the earthquake.
And that's it. That speech is the trigger. Victor's ambition just skyrockets. He's not looking for the philosopher's stone anymore.
No, now he's going for the secret of life itself.
And the indictment of that whole pursuit comes from Victor, years later, when he warns Walton.
How dangerous is the acquirement of knowledge, and how much happier that man is who believes his native town to be the world.
Then he who aspires to become greater than his nature will allow. That warning is the thesis of the entire book.
And it's a warning he completely ignored. He works for 2 years, locks himself away from everyone.
And he makes this bizarre choice to make his creation gigantic, 8 feet tall, which right from the start ensures it could never fit into society.
Why do that? I mean, it's like he was guaranteeing his own failure before he even began.
He was. He didn't just fail to be a father. He designed the failure from the ground up.
And the second it comes to life, the dream just shatters.
Instantly. He's filled with breathless horror and disgust. The beautiful dream becomes this hideous, awful reality.
He has that terrible nightmare about Elizabeth turning into his mother's corpse, and then he wakes up and the creature is standing by his bed.
And he just runs. He completely abandons it. That's his first And worst, moral failure.
Yeah.
He flees and collapses into this fever that lasts for months.
And he even reflects on it later. He says, if any study weakens your affections or your love for simple pleasures,
Then that study is certainly unlawful. It's an admission that his work destroyed his own humanity.
and who nurses him back to health?
Henry Clerval, the man of moral relations. The irony is just. It's crushing.
But the horror doesn't stay in Ingolstadt. It follows him home. He gets a letter. His little brother, William, has been murdered.
And when Victor gets back to Geneva, there's a storm, and he sees him. He sees the creature moving in the darkness, and he knows instantly. He knows who the murderer is.
But the tragedy gets so much worse.
Oh, it does, because Justine Moritz, a dear family friend, gets framed for the murder.
The creature took a miniature portrait of Victor's mother from William and planted it in her pocket.
So Victor knows she's innocent. He is the only person on Earth who knows the truth. But he says nothing.
Why? Because he's afraid they'll think he's a madman.
Right. And his silence, to protect his own reputation, is what sends this innocent woman to her death. He admits it himself. He says he is, in effect, the true murderer.
It's just a total failure of accountability.
So Victor escapes to the mountains, to the Alps. He's trying to find some kind of peace.
And that's where he has the confrontation. The creature finds him on a glacier near Montemvert.
And Victor is just full of rage, cursing him. But the creature's response is so surprisingly eloquent. He demands compassion.
He says, I ought to be thy Adam, but I am rather the fallen angel.
Yes, whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed. He claims he was born good.
Misery made me a fiend.
And then we get the creature's story, his education. And this is the part of the book that explains everything.
It really is. He learns everything by watching the de Lacey family through a little crack in the wall of their cottage.
He learns language. He learns about kindness, about family, just from watching them. He even starts secretly helping them, clearing snow, gathering wood. He wants to be their good spirit.
But his real education comes from 3 books he finds.
Right. Sorrows of Werther, Plutarch's Lives, and Paradise Lost. And the combination is just devastating.
So Werther teaches him about sadness, about melancholy.
Yes, and Plutarch gives him history and morality. He admires the good guys, the lawgivers, not the destroyers. He's trying to be good.
But Paradise Lost, that's the one. That's the key.
It's the whole story for him. First, he sees himself as Adam, unique, alone, but loved by his creator.
But then he realizes, wait a minute, my creator doesn't love me. He despises me.
So if I can't be Adam, who am I?
You have to be Satan, the abandoned one, the one who becomes malignant because he was rejected.
All this knowledge just confirms for him that he is a total outcast. And then he tries to make his one appeal to humanity.
To the blind father, de Lacey, thinking if the man can't see him, he'll be judged by his words, by his character.
It's this moment of incredible psychological risk, and it fails spectacularly. The kids come home, they see him, and they violently attack him.
And that's it. That's the breaking point.
That's the breaking point. He declares everlasting war against the species and burns their cottage to the ground. He tried to be Adam, but humanity forced him to be Satan.
And from then on, he is actively malicious.
Yes. On his way to Geneva, he saves a little girl from a river, and a man sees him, assumes the worst, and shoots him.
So that's it. That's the final confirmation. Humanity will only ever see a monster.
Which is why he murders William and frames Justine. He is now applying the lessons of human cruelty back onto his creator's world.
He finally tracks Victor down in Scotland and makes his one demand.
A female companion. A mate as hideous as he is. And he makes this promise that they'll go away to South America and never bother anyone again.
He gives Victor an ultimatum. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear.
And Victor actually starts. He starts building the second creature, but then he has this moment of foresight, a flicker of responsibility.
He imagines a race of devils populating the earth, and he just can't do it. He destroys the female creature right in front of the first one.
Which is the final, ultimate betrayal. And the creature's response is ice cold. I will be with you on your wedding night.
And Victor, in his incredible self-absorption, thinks the threat is against him.
He completely misses it. He thinks the creature is coming for him.
But the vengeance is for everyone else. First, Henry Clerval is murdered in Ireland. The moral center of the book is gone.
And then, on the wedding night, just as promised, the creature kills Elizabeth.
Victor's father dies of grief. And just like that, Victor has absolutely nothing left, nothing but revenge.
And that's what brings us full circle. The rest of Victor's life is this obsessive chase across Russia into the Arctic,
where Walton finds him. And even as he's dying, Victor is still begging Walton to continue the mission, to kill the monster for humanity's sake.
The final scene, though, it's just incredible. It's in Walton's cabin. The creature is there, standing over Victor's body.
And he's full of remorse. He says, I, who irretrievably destroyed thee by destroying all thou lovest. He knows his own passion made him a devil.
In his last speech, he says he's going to the most northern extremity of the globe to build his own funeral pyre. He wants to destroy himself so no one can ever study his remains and create another like him.
And he vanishes into the darkness. So we end right back where we started, in the ice, in total solitude.
And Walton's journey is a failure. His men mutiny. They force him to turn back south. His ambition gets checked by the reality of human fear. It's the lesson Victor never learned.
The creature's evil, then. It wasn't born in him. It was made.
It was entirely made by isolation and rejection. He had this brilliant mind that learned way too much, way too fast, with no emotional support. So when society rejected him, he just broke.
So we're left with this question. The creature says misery made him a fiend. Was Victor's crime just a personal failure? A failure of fatherhood?
Or is it bigger?
Yeah.
Is Shelley saying this is a fundamental failure of science itself when it refuses to take moral responsibility for what it creates?
Victor chose fame, then his reputation, then his revenge over every single person in his life.
He did. He created life and then abandoned it to the cruelest possible fate.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. What is the true cost of knowledge when it's acquired and then just abandoned? And how often do we see it today, the pursuit of power without any thought for the consequences?